All right, what up is Marcus with Dynasty Football Dads. We have a DeAndre Swift signed jersey that we're going to give away at 2,000 subscribers. But we are going to be doing the first post-draft, post-first round of the draft. We're going to be going through some rankings here. We're going to go through the top 10. At least players that have been drafted already. There are a lot of players like Zach Charbonnet or Devin A-Chain that have not been drafted yet. But we're going to go through the players that have been drafted. So let's get through it. The draft was fun. I thought it was fun. Maybe I'm a Vikings fan, as you can see. So I had a little bit of fun. I had a little bit of fun of everyone texting me going, hey, is Will Levis going to be picked for the Vikings? I was like, no. He is not going to be picked. And guess what? It is the end of the first round. He's not being picked yet. So first overall, Bijan Robinson, the number 8 overall pick to Atlanta. I felt like this was either an Atlanta or a Atlanta, Chicago, Philadelphia kind of area. I was discussing this with my dad, with some friends here, and I was like, this is the area that he's going to go in. He's going to go in the Atlanta, Chicago, Philadelphia area. He goes to Atlanta, or 8 overall. It doesn't bother me at all that Desmond Ridder is a horrible quarterback. It does not bother me at all that is going to be the offense that he's going to have to be put upon. And so that Bijan Robinson, 101, it's going to be easy. Nice, and he's going to be a tier by himself. Superflex, 1 QB, it doesn't matter. Bijan Robinson is going to be there. We're going to be doing Superflex. So, number 2, Bryce Young, who's the number 1 overall pick to Carolina, which is what we kind of figured over the last couple days here. By the way, just looking at the players that have been picked compared to what our rankings were 5 months ago, there's not much of a big difference. It's kind of crazy how you had the picks 4 or 5 months ago that we had discussed, Bijan, Bryce Young, and we're going to talk about them, and then you had this kind of like change of what picks were being promoted, Will Levis and some other players, and then all of a sudden now they're back to being kind of into their own situation. The players that were supposed to be potentially picked way ahead ended up being put back. So anyways, I'm just always curious because this is the, 5th, 6th, maybe 7th year now that I've been doing this stuff. And it's like, I have my rankings in January. They start to slowly change because of this draft talk. And then all of a sudden we get to the end of the draft and we go, oh, kind of back to the January rankings instead of the March rankings. We probably should go back to the January rankings. And so, anyways, Bryce Young, 101 to the Carolina Panthers. Again, he's going to have a struggling situation. He's not going to have weapons around him, and we know that. Maybe they'll draft somebody in round 2. We'll see. Do they even have their second round pick? That's a good question. I have no idea. That's what we call lack of preparation here. 103, Anthony Richardson to the Colts. I have talked about this in depth. You have Bryce Young, Anthony Richardson, CJ Stroud, 101 or 102, 103, 104. If you want to argue any way up and down here, it's fine. I mean, honestly, it really is fine because CJ Stroud goes to the Houston Texans. They trade up, and they trade their 2024 first, which is to note, to the Arizona Cardinals. And so they trade that, and so that's a huge trade because that means they're not going to have a 2024 first to draft a wide receiver here. I really want to know what their plan is to surround CJ Stroud. If they're just going to like leave him hanging here. And so he's going to be 104, 105, JSN. We're going to have some players that we want to really talk about, so I don't want to go too in-depth in these quarterbacks that we've talked about for the last 5 minutes. Not 5 minutes. 5 months. Arguing these things back and forth. So JSN, 105, goes to Seattle, 120. I thought that maybe my Minnesota Vikings at 123 could get JSN, and I was getting super pumped. It was almost like the CeeDee Lamb type where I was like, ooh, maybe Minnesota gets CeeDee Lamb. And then all of a sudden we got Justin Jefferson, who ends up being better than CeeDee Lamb. What are the thoughts on that? JSN going to Seattle. I mean, Tyler Lockett is getting older. He's getting to the point where he's probably got a year, maybe 2 years left. But JSN is going to be excellent in that situation. Geno Smith is a competent enough quarterback that even if they draft somebody in 2024, that Geno Smith could be good enough fantasy quarterback for JSN to be successful. I love JSN. I love JSN. I think he's by far the wide receiver one. You put him in Seattle's offense with DK Metcalf, with Tyler Lockett, who is aging. This is a good spot for JSN. It's not a great spot. It's not a horrible spot. It's a good spot for JSN. And so I love that. 105, he's actually jumped Jahmyr Gibbs because we just don't know what's going on. 106, Jahmyr Gibbs, 112 to Detroit. I love the draft capital. Love the draft capital. If DeAndre Swift or David Montgomery, which would be DeAndre Swift, if he gets traded or is off Detroit's roster, which I don't understand this. We'll have to talk about it. If DeAndre Swift is not on the roster, then Gibbs, of course, goes into 105 spot. Easy peasy. But why do they have DeAndre Swift, David Montgomery, and Jahmyr Gibbs? This is going to be a mess for a year or two. This is going to be a mess because Detroit wants it to be a mess, apparently. I have no idea what Detroit is doing. Yes, they have a lot of offensive weapons. They have a very poor defense, which is great for fantasy offense. But Jahmyr Gibbs, 112, is an excellent draft capital for a running back. I just love DeAndre Swift. And I love DeAndre Swift's talent. I know that you can say, hey, this is a sign that DeAndre Swift is on his way out. But guess what? He has to actually get his butt out of the town. They actually have to trade him. Trade him to Miami. Trade him to, Arizona. Trade him to some team that actually wants DeAndre Swift. He's a hyper-talented running back. And now you have David Montgomery, who's decent, and you have Jahmyr Gibbs on that team. I'm just moving Jahmyr Gibbs down a spot. We've discussed the Jahmyr Gibbs versus JSN situation, and I said anybody that's going to the Jets or Detroit is a horrible spot. Well, guess what? Right now, Jahmyr Gibbs is in the horrible spot. And then we go down to a tier break here. Jordan Addison. Woo! Skull. Jordan Addison, 123 goes to Minnesota. I love it. I was actually texting family and friends. It was like, hey, Jordan Addison, 123. That's where it's going. It's either that or best defensive player. We're not going Will Levis. We're going Jordan Addison. We're getting that separator. We're getting that player to take the pressure off of Justin Jefferson. And so Justin Jefferson, of course, amazing. Adam Thielen was that player to take pressure off. He has aged way too much over the last 18 months. Good luck, Carolina. Jordan Addison is going to fill that spot perfectly to take that pressure off. KJ Osborne has been way too up and down that I don't trust KJ Osborne. I trust him as a wide receiver 3. I don't trust him as a wide receiver 2. Jordan Addison is going to be the perfect wide receiver 2 inside, in the slot area. 170 pounds in the slot. Perfect situation for Jordan Addison. I love that. You have Hawkinson, you have Addison, and you have JJ. It's going to be a nice situation. He's going to have a very capped ceiling. We just have to know that. He's not going to be a wide receiver 1 because JJ's there, but a wide receiver 2. We have seen plenty of Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. We've seen plenty of wide receivers that have been Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. We've seen 2 wide receivers be successful on the same team. We're going to see it if it's not this year, it's going to be next year or the following year after that. And this is Dynasty, so we have to look at the long run here. 108, Quentin Johnston. 121 to Los Angeles Chargers. Mike Williams is done in 2024. This is like the transition of Mike Williams being out. It's like, hey, you're going to not retire, but it's like when somebody hires you at work and says, hey, you're going to be out here in a year or two. This is basically the Mike Williams replacement. Quentin Johnston here. 121 to the Los Angeles Chargers. It's okay. Is what Quentin Johnston needed. It is exactly what he needed. He needed an accurate quarterback that can get tight windows. And there's not many teams out there. There's Cincinnati, there's Buffalo, there's Los Angeles Chargers. Gosh, there's Minnesota Vikings, I guess, maybe. The Jets, with Aaron Rodgers. There's not many teams that you're going to be able to fit in tight windows. You're going to need a very accurate quarterback, and that's exactly what he gets. That's why he's 108 here. 109, Dalton Kincaid. I love Dalton Kincaid. And the more I've watched it, shout out to, I think Herbert is the watcher. I think it's Joe Herbert. Maybe he's the subscriber here. He likes Kincaid over Michael Mayer, and he said that, if I quote him correctly, that he thought Michael Mayer would get drafted first, but that Kincaid was his top tight end. Well, Kincaid goes to Buffalo. 125 here. Like, this is perfect for Dalton Kincaid. I have a hard time seeing Michael Mayer be into this category with Dalton Kincaid. 125 to Buffalo. Like, that is a perfect situation for Dalton Kincaid. Sorry for all you owners of... Why did my mind blanking? I'm mind blanking on the tight end over there. He scores touchdowns. Why can I not even think of his name? I am mind blanking. I want to say Tyler Bass, but that is the kicker. And I need to stop thinking of Tyler Bass, the kicker. Dalton Knox. Thank you. Dawson Knox, not Dalton. Dawson Knox. Thank you. See, sometimes I just go, it's 11:10. And my son probably will wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning waking me up. And so that's what happens when you have a 2-year-old that just likes to wake up at 5 o'clock and says, hey, Dada, football time. I'm like, hey, no, go to bed for like another hour and a half. Anyways, Dawson Knox. Goodbye, Dawson Knox. 125. Buffalo. Dalton Kincaid. 109. 110. Zay Flowers for now. 122 to Baltimore. That's my thoughts. Anybody that goes to Baltimore, New England, you just knew that the situation was not going to be great. So we're just going to talk about Dalton. We're going to talk about Zay Flowers for a short period of time so I can go to bed because I need to go to bed really quickly. Zay Flowers goes to Baltimore. We have Rashad Bateman, who is still talented. We have Mark Andrews, who is the alpha. And we have Lamar Jackson there for 5 years, $260 million. So, Zay Flowers, welcome to high wide receiver 3 time. And let's see what else we got in round 2, because I'm excited to see what we got in round 2. All right? I'm going to go to bed. I'm tired. Oh, peace out. Take care. We'll see you tomorrow.